How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another one of my videos where today I'm going to be going over my own personal fashion build with the new Solstice 2021 armor sets. So if you haven't seen last video where I kind of go over all of my thoughts on the new armor sets, go ahead and click on the little annotation popping up at the top right now. Now the point of this video is to kind of show you what I did with the Solstice 2021 set on my Titan, to kind of give you some ideas of what you can do with your own Titan. I will be making videos for the Hunter and the Warlock later on, but if you guys need any fashion help in the meantime in between now and those videos, remember I do have a Discord server that you can go ahead and join. Just click on that link down below where you can go ahead and grab some fashion help or show off anything that you've already made. And if you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button or else I will break your freaking knees. And remember, if you like to stay fashionable in real life as well, go ahead and click on that affiliate link down below to buy yourself a brand new extra wallet. We can talk more about that at the end of the video, but now let's go ahead and get started with my personal Solstice 2021 fashion build. Okay, so this is what I came up with. I'm liking it a lot. At first, I wasn't really sure about it, but then when I started playing with it and kind of looking at it, I ended up liking it a lot more. So let's go ahead and see what I am wearing here. So for my shader, I'm using Jacarina on almost everything, except for my mark though. My mark, I decided to go with monochromatic, and I can actually show you why. If you go ahead and apply on Jacarina, everything looks pretty damn good, except for the little center flap here. It makes it turn blue and it just doesn't look right considering everything is just black and white. That blue does show up on occasion, but right now it's not really that good. There's nothing else that's blue on my armor set, so that's why I decided not to go with Jacarina here. I decided to just go with monochromatic. It does add a little bit of carbon fiber here around the belt, which I mean, I don't really see a problem with it, but it doesn't really match any of the other armor, but that's the best that I could do with that. Moving on from that, let's go over to the helmet. For the helmet, I had several options that I was going to go with here, but I just ended up going with the Solstice 2020 helmet. At first I wanted it to use the 2019 helmet without the glow, but I remember that it had that gold trim going around the helmet, and while it does look good sometimes, it doesn't look good whenever you're trying to do just a black and white build, so I decided to go with the Solstice 2020 helmet. And this one I could have added on a little bit of armor glow to it, and you still can. If you are into armor glow and you don't mind it, you can still go ahead and transmog the white glow version of this along with the white glow version of anything that you can get from the rest of your Solstice sets, and just like that you can have yourself a nice white glow. But personally, I tend to stray away from glow. I don't really like it too much these days. I like me a more matte finish, you know? And I also very much enjoy just the no face thing going on here. Oh my god, did I make another faceless Titan? Ooh, clickbait video. I also enjoy what Jacarina does here to all of the cracks where the glow should be. It looks very I don't know, it just looks ancient, almost like marble. Almost. It looks really good and I'm digging it. From there, we went ahead and threw on the Solstice arms from this year. I didn't like these at first. If you go ahead and look at last video, I didn't like them. But then whenever I combined these with the Cuirass of the Falling Star, that's where everything started to come to life. And there's really not much to say about these, just the design here with the, I wish I knew what this kind of style was called, but you know what I mean. This, all these little twisty bits here that almost look a little bit floral really match well with the Cuirass of the Falling Star, because the Cuirass of the Falling Star does have a lot of floral designs to it, so I thought that matched perfectly with it. Now, the thing about the Cuirass of the Falling Star is that Jacarina makes it look mostly black, which is fine. I don't really mind it. And I know some of you guys are going to bring up the fact that it's not really that white and there's a lot more black in the chest going on, which I personally like, but I know not a lot of you are going to want a whole lot of black here in the chest area and you want more white. If you want to go ahead and do that, you can also try applying monochromatic to it, but as you can see here, this is why I didn't do it. It adds that carbon fiber texture to the sides and it starts throwing off more things. Now, of course, we can also go ahead and apply monochromatic to the whole entire set, and that will start applying that carbon fiber texture to more places. And the only problem with that is all this little design going on here in the little frills it starts to look really busy combined with the carbon fiber texture. So that's why I prefer to have mostly everything be Jacarina versus monochromatic. And from there, we're going to move on to the legs. The legs was probably the hardest thing for me. Now, of course, you can go ahead and just do the regular Solstice legs that match with the arms and the mark, but then you're starting to kind of use too much of the same set. And for me personally, I don't really like using more than 2 pieces of the same set. Now for you, that can be completely fine. This is just a personal preference of mine. And the Lucent Knight Greaves kind of matches that same aesthetic, which is kind of like a very regal knight. So that's why I ended up going with these. I would prefer a little bit of a thinner pair of greaves, but I really couldn't find anything else that I liked more than the Lucent Knight Greaves, and I haven't really used these a lot, so that's why I ended up going with these. And that all comes together in a very nice and neat package. But if you don't have all of these armor pieces, or if you're watching this maybe in the future where you can no longer acquire any of the new Solstice gear, I do have some alternatives that you can use. So for the helmets, the one that I immediately knew that you can use would be the Virtuous Helm. If you're going to go ahead and use the Virtuous Helm though, I would recommend throwing some glow on there, because the Virtuous Helm does have that glow in the visor section. So anywhere where you decide to apply the new Solstice gear, go ahead and try to apply the white onto there. That way it kind of matches the visor there and you don't have that glow just in one spot. Since we are kind of doing a like regal knight type of build here, of course the Sovereign Helm is going to also work perfectly with this. It also gives us that like classic knight vibe, so that's why that also works for this. The other helmet that works good with this, but maybe a little bit less than the other two, is going to be the Retrograde TG2. I don't know, it just kind of gives me like a Juggernaut type of vibe. I mean, you are just a freaking missile whenever you're using the Curse of the Fallen Star, so it kind of fits with the theme. I would play with different shaders if you're going to go ahead and use this helmet, but I thought it was a very good choice for that if you didn't have any of the other helmets. Or of course, you could take the easy route and you could also just use the helmet from the Solstice 2021 from this year, but again, you will have 3 pieces of the same set, which again is a personal preference of mine not to do that, but it might be just fine for you and it doesn't look bad. For the arms was a little bit harder to do for me also. So the Legatus gauntlets will also work out just fine. You will need to use a different shader with these just because it starts to introduce that blue that Jacarina sometimes has. So if you're going to go ahead and use these arms, I would recommend just throwing on monochromatic. That way you can still keep with the black and white theme. So the Reverie Dawn gauntlets are going to be one of 2 gauntlets that you can also use. Reverie Dawn set is very knight-like. It is from the Dreaming City, I believe. And then you can also use the Gauntlets of the Great Hunt, which is from the Last Wish raid, which are kind of like an upgraded version of the Reverie Dawn ones. And they still have that like classic knight look, and they look really cool whenever you're actually playing with them in-game. So those 2 would also be very good choices. But in my opinion, the best choice that you can possibly do for an alternative are going to be the Arms of Optimacy, and this is going to be one of the only times you're ever going to hear me recommend these gauntlets. To me, they are kind of ugly. The shoulders are just kind of weird, but for the Curse of the Falling Star, they actually work out pretty dang good, especially because we still have that floral design that kind of just matches perfectly here. So kind of the same thing here with the chest area. If you're going to use a different armor piece other than the Curse of the Fallen Star, which first of all, if you're a Titan, you should have that and there shouldn't be an excuse for not having that, but just in case maybe you haven't bought any of the new DLCs, here are some alternatives. So the Reverie Dawn plate is a good one. Again, it's very knight-like, and I like the fact that it kind of matches with the little knee pads here, how they're just kind of pointy. You have that same pointiness going on in the neck area. And of course, the plate of the Great Hunt will also work. It still has that same general shape. It's just a lot more like busy. And for both of those chest plates right there, you are going to have to switch to monochromatic, because I don't think that Jacarina just looks good with those. Actually, Jacarina looks good with the plate of the Great Hunt, but not so much that Reverie Dawn chest plate. But one really good option if you have it, the Lucient Knight chestplate. I mean, you should have that if you have the Lucient Knight greaves here. They go well together because they're from the same set, of course. Everything just kind of works between these two here and the mark here. The only one that's kind of off just by a little bit would be the gauntlet, so you might have to experiment a little bit. But if you don't really want to experiment, they still work out just fine. Now, if you don't have any of the Lucient Knight stuff, of course you can go ahead and cheat and you can just use the Sunstead Greaves, kind of the same thing that I've been saying this whole entire time. You are using 3 pieces of the same armor set, so I would try to stray away from doing that. But another good set that you could use instead of those would be the Solstice set from 2020, so last year. And those will fit together just fine. I mean, this is the same set as the helmet, so that way you start to get some synergy here, and it's all Solstice gear. So, I mean, it's kind of the same theme anyway. The other good thing about using these is if you do decide that you want to use the white glow or any color glow, you can just apply that onto there, and there you go, you have some white glow on there if you like to be flashy. So kind of the same thing that we were talking about whenever we were talking about the arms and the chest plate, the Reverie Dawn set is going to come in handy here as well. I would go ahead and switch back to the Jacarina shader if you're going to use the Reverie Dawn mark. Another mark you can use if you have the Lucient Knight stuff, you can go ahead and use the Lucient Knight mark. And I mean, this thing, I love the Lucient Knight mark. It works with so many things and it just looks good. If you are a Trials tryhard and you have the newest of the Trials sets, you can go ahead and also use the Trials mark. I do like the general shape just because it is kind of pointy and it kind of matches with the pointiness on the legs here and on the helmet up here. And if you decide to use Armor Glow and you are a Trials tryhard, you can probably make this glow red and you can rock the Solar Glow for your armor pieces, and that way you can be all glowed up. Now, speaking of using different shaders, if you don't have Jacarina or Monochromatic for some reason, here are a couple of shaders that you can also try. Carminica is a good one. I mean, it's black and red. Of course, it's going to look freaking amazing. Another good one, if you don't want to be basic, you can use Dreaming Spectrum, and that throws on that like nice bone white onto your armor and that nice like regal purple. I almost ended up using this one instead of Jacarina, but I felt like Jacarina kind of gave me a better look. Like, I like the matte look to Jacarina, I just never really use it, so this is my one chance to use it, so that's why I decided to go with that. But anyway, back to Dreaming Spectrum. Dreaming Spectrum just looks so nice. If you don't have Jacarina or Monochromatic, I would strongly recommend that you go with Dreaming Spectrum instead. Now, this one I kind of talked about last video. The Dawning Tranquility shader surprised me so much when it comes to this set. I don't know, I just like the whole like a bronze gold look to all of the metallic areas here, and it still has that like nice rich regal purple. It just looks freaking fantastic, although I wouldn't recommend using this shader if you are planning on using any glows on your armor. And lastly, I was also pleasantly surprised by the Warbrick shader. I like that nice like deep rich blood red, and that combined with that like charcoal gray, oh, just chef's kiss. It looks freaking fantastic, and that is another good shader for you to try. If you guys do have any other suggestions for different armor pieces you can possibly use with this look, or different shaders, feel free to comment all of that stuff down below. Alright everybody, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like down below, and if you guys want to show off anything you're making with your new Solstice armor, don't forget you can also join my Discord server. There will be a link down below to that. And also don't forget to subscribe or else I will break your freaking knees. Go ahead and also leave me a comment down below if you guys have any suggestions for things that I can possibly change up about my look, or maybe things that you're doing with your own looks. And if you like to be fashionable out in real life as well, don't forget to check out our channel sponsor Extra Wallets. I've been using their wallet for about a month now, and let me tell you, it is very addicting using that little mechanism that makes your cards pop up. I just keep doing it just for fun, like not even whenever I go and pay for things. So if you guys want to grab yourself one of those wallets, check out that link down below. I hope all of you have a wonderful day. Don't forget to click on another video showing up in the end card right now. And Guardians, as always, stay beautiful.